Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Stolen Ramen, and welcome back to the stream. Previously, we've been delving into the world of Naruhodo Ryuchi. No, wait. That's the wrong one, wrong Japanese name. Ryusuke Naruhodo. And we've been going through the first episode. It's a very long one. Not like traditional Phoenix Wright games, where the first trial is usually done and dusted in the first hour. We've been trudging our way through it all, and I think we're only just halfway through, if going by the translator's notes. So, let's have a quick recap. So, first of all, we had two witnesses to start off the trial, pointing to Naruhodo Ryuchi as the murderer, with the pistol that killed Professor H. Watson. Naruhodo Ryuchi still states that there was a woman with Watson that nobody else saw. As it turns out, after cross-examination, there was a police detective hiding the fact that there was a woman that was eating with Mr. Watson. This was revealed by the fact that Mr. Watson could not eat at all, and there was a plate at the table due to a tooth extraction. So now we have pulled the woman to the stand. She can't speak a lick of Japanese, or English in this case in the translation, but we won't get into that. And now we have to now prove that she was the one who hid a pistol. So the handbag that was revealed to us was in fact a lace one, which could not conceal a pistol, but now we have proved that possibly he was dead at the time. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling on and get back into it. I can't believe this. Even I had no idea we would reach this kind of conclusion. So now we have proved that the burn mark on Mr. Watson's arm was done at the scene of the crime, but nobody heard a scream from him. But it seems that all of us may have fallen victim to an inconceivable trap. I can only think of one possible explanation for this contradiction. When the professor burned his wrist, he was already dead. Shinderu. Even when his wrist was pressed onto the hot iron plate, he still managed to be silent. A scenario like that would be impossible. That is, if we ignore the obvious implication. The obvious implication? Do you mean? Yes. He must have already been dead. Already dead? Ooh. There's no other way to see it at this point. On that day, when the beefsteak was brought to Professor Watson's dining table, the professor was already dead. What? No, how? It can't be! Order! Order! Order in the court! Just what in the heaven's name does this mean? Haven't we been operating on the assumption that the victim was killed by a gunshot? Indeed so, Your Honour. Don't be misled. The student's outrageous claims are nothing but nonsensical attempts to twist the truth. The one twisting the truth here is you, prosecutor. How so? We have established the time when the professor burnt his wrist at Lycanthos. The reality of this incident has already changed completely. Do you not understand? Good. Your Honour, we demand further testimony. If the victim had been dead long before the sound of that gunshot, then there's a possibility that the witness knew about that fact. This is beyond my wildest imagination. I never would have thought this trial would be twist after twist. I'm sorry to ask this of you, Miss Brett, but you will have to give up on your prior arrangements. Are you mad? While our country's judicial system may be still immature, we cannot pass a verdict when so many clear doubts remain. Your Honour. Oh, we're gonna have a breakdown. Ooh, smile. Ooh, ooh. Did she just laugh? Yes, I can actually understand that now. That's weird. Yes, of course. I'll happily consent to your demands. For the sake of your empire and mine. For the friendship we share with the Empire of Japan. Oh, Miss Brett, did you just speak Japanese? Oh, certainly. I know the language. What kind of exchange student doesn't? Then why did you need a translator? Queen's English. English is the most beautiful language of all. A lady would never stoop to dirtying her lips with other ugly languages unless she had to. Well, okay, let's look at the chat. Snake Man, Ramen, I am so happy. I finally got Flora. Nice one. Congratulations, honestly. I've been wanting to get a Flora, but I've been feeling her weapons a bit Okay. It would seem that gentlemen in this land want for a chivalrous spirit. As such, I am rendered no choice but to speak for myself. Oh. You really are a proper British lady. The extent of your goodwill spreads as wide as the great ocean. Very well. Miss Brett, the court requests that you give additional testimony. Tell us what you know of the circumstances surrounding the victim's death. So she's finally willing to speak for herself. This is where our fight really begins, Naruto. Nice one, Cub. Minus HP plus res, isn't that like optimal? Unfortunately, I do not know when the professor burned himself. I simply enjoyed my beefsteak and shared a toast with him, remember? I heard the post-mortem states that he was killed with a gun. What else can I say? If there exists a way to kill without leaving a trace, then show it to me. But your inexperienced investigators couldn't possibly produce any new evidence, surely. Well, how about that? That was the most beautiful testimony that has ever graced this court. You're giving her way too much praise. I hope this is the final time I am forced to speak in this barbaric language. I do sincerely apologize if I offended you. Not at all. Being blessed with such words fills me with such joy. I knew all along that the birthmark had nothing to do with it. I'm sure your Minister of Justice would love to hear all about today's trial. Minister of Justice? I'd like to see if the bothersome hoodlum of a student over there receives an increased punishment for his unsubstantiated accusations. Amen. Huh? Gee, thanks. Did she just say amen? Speaking of bothersome, we're ready for the next cross-examination. I'm sure you've already not noticed that this bothersome hoodlum is actually quite exceptional. You shouldn't need reminding that this will be your final chance at a cross-examination. Should there be no issues with the following testimony, there will truly be the conclusion of the trial. Do you understand, attorney? Yes, Your Honour. Very well then, you may proceed with the cross-examination. Here we go. We got the Allegro. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I do not know when the professor burned himself. Hold it. But his wrist on the plate... his wrist was on the plate for 3 seconds. There's no way he didn't just notice. Alright, but let's flip things around. Huh? I noticed something at the start of the trial, and you still haven't fixed it. The zip on your black pants is wide open. Did you notice that? What? What? Ha! Of course not. That is indeed the truth, defendant. I noticed too. I'm just embarrassed looking at you. You could have said something. Professor Watson truly was the picture of a British gentleman. He chose silence over making a big fuss. Isn't that so surprising? Ah, I see. Yes, that certainly does seem plausible. That doesn't make any sense at all! Anyway... I simply enjoyed my beefsteak and shared a toast with him, remember? You just testified a minute ago that it was with carbonated water, right? At the time, Professor Watson was only allowed to drink liquids. Because of that, he ordered carbonated water. Isn't that right, head waiter? Yes, I'm sure of it. You are correct. However... As for whether the professor had drunk any water when I carried the beefsteak over, I have no memory of that. God damn you. Oh, I know what this means. May God's blessing be upon you. Right? I'm pretty sure that's the exact opposite of what it means. Anyway. There's something about that. I heard the post-mortem states that he was killed with a gun. That's right, it's written in the report. Bled to death after a single shot to the chest. Yes. Fortunately, humans can't die from a minuscule burn wounds. And besides that, if no trace of any other cause of death was found on the body, then nothing but the bullet you fired could have killed the victim. But if a burn is from the arm plate, it would have been shortly after it reached the table. That's right. If it had cooled off even a bit, it wouldn't have been able to leave a burn. And if a burn didn't come from touching the plate, then naturally at that time he would have already been dead. However, the reality is that the victim died from a gunshot wound. So long as you have no evidence to refute that, your argument is meaningless. Indeed, Prosecutor Ouchie is correct. Darn! What else can I say? If there exists a way to kill someone without leaving a trace, then show it to me. I haven't got anything to refute this at the moment. Without a trace? Whether you shoot with a gun, strangle, stab, or with a knife, or push someone down, when you take someone's life, there is always a trace left behind. Indeed, that is correct. The Japanese police investigated everything. The Japanese police investigated everything, I can say that with absolute certainty. Right, Detective Hosonaga, I strive for the most absolutely thorough investigation to the best of my ability. There is no doubt that the average murderer would leave behind a trace on the corpse. But is there any method that would be an exception to that rule? If anything, by any chance, you suspect me, then I would have to request you show me the means by which I killed the Professor. But that's out of the question, isn't it? Don't be absurd. The very nerve suspecting a lovely British woman of such a thing. Such an insolent fellow. I, Algie, shall slice him in two. A murder method which leaves no trace. If you want to prove it, you'll need some sort of evidence. Evidence? Ooh, so there must be something. But your inexperienced investigators couldn't possibly produce any new evidence. Surely. Maybe a couple are poisoned, but... okay. In the British Empire, all evidence left at the scene is preserved and investigated by the police. But in this country, investigations are one-and-done affairs, correct? Congratulations, Ghost, on the Flying Nino. Yes, Lecantos is running business as usual today. That's why, even if the situation changes, you wouldn't be able to file new evidence. Ooh! Ooh! Are they stealing from Professor Layton? And your inexperienced investigators didn't find a single shadow of doubt. Ooh! He's got something to say. Oh. Yeah, that hit right where it hurts. Those words sting, my lady. Somehow, that prosecutor feels like he's trying to act like a big shot. I'm pretty sure it's just your imagination. Though Giselle's tested me just now. For just a moment, I feel like something was trying to jump out at me. What do you think, Naruhodo? I can't do it. No matter how much I press her, I can't get anything useful. That's no surprise, she's clearly very stubborn. But if we don't take action now, this cross-examination is over. No! Can't I find even a single clue? Is it really impossible to tear down that foreign belle's testimony? Hey, Asogi. What is it, Naruhodo? There's actually one thing that bothers me. What bothers you? Is it that lady? No, it's not her. It's the one next to her, Detective Hasanaga. The detective? In that last testimony, I feel his reaction was pretty unusual. Maybe if I point out the good detective's reaction, he'll spill the beans. Beans? That's it, I've got an idea. Try pressing that lady's final statement one more time. Huh? This time our target isn't that stoic lady, but rather that detective standing next to her. Oh, I understand. Asogi might be onto something. I'll try pressing her last statement one more time. One. Because I think this is like Professor Layton and X-Phoenix Wright's sort of mechanic where you could interject to the other witnesses reacting to the testimony. In the British Empire, all evidence left at the scene is preserved and investigated by the police. But in this country, investigations are one-and-done affairs, correct? Yeah. That's why even if the situation changes, you won't be able to file new evidence. That's it. The detective reacted to Giselle's testimony. Up until a short while ago, that detective was on the witness stand as our interpreter. But now, the situation has changed completely. Detective Hasanaga is now in a position to listen to her testimony. Maybe this is the chance we've been waiting for. What do you mean? Whenever someone takes a stand to testify, they try not to show any weaknesses. However, when listening to someone else's words, they let their guard down. I see, he's completely lost in thought. Now, why don't we try questioning that detective? Question him? No, though. Have a look at the screen. The screen? Right now, the lady is testifying is our focus. It is Professor Layton, ex-Phoenix Wright. So, if we swipe along, if we slide the cursor, we can look at someone else. Then, while you're looking at another person, the option to question will appear. Pushing them while their guard is down might give you more information. If anything seems strange, don't hesitate to change your focus. Remember that. First, I'll slide the cursor at the detective. Then I question. Alright, let's give it a go. That's why even in situation cases, you won't be able to file new evidence. Question! Shut up! Yeah, what is it? What on earth? Oh god, he's gonna die. Sorry, I didn't think I started you that much. Wow. I completely bypassed his defences. This technique is more powerful than I thought. Now, it seemed like you were deep in thought about something. Maybe the lovely lady next to you helped you remember something. If there's anything you'd like to say, please tell us. Huh? Just what is this? Did you forget who's testifying right now? If you have no problem with what she said, then this cross-examination is over. Oh, okay. That's not going to fly. What? As long as he is still on the stand, Detective Hasanaga still qualifies as a witness. Also, he is directly related to the case too. Detective Hasanaga. Yes, Your Honor. Is there anything you wish to say in regards to the testimony just now? Very well then. If Your Honor must ask, I do believe I have something to say. The slide in question pierces any defence. A weapon surpass Metal Gear. I love that. Nice one, Cub. It is true that the Imperial Police's investigations are still inexperienced compared to Britain. But I myself, Hasanaga, I live my life by the motto, if you plan to investigate, do it to the utmost perfection. Perfection. Therefore, I, myself, Hasanaga, took from the crime scene everything I could get my hands on, all in the name of crime scene preservation. Call me a crime scene thief if you must, but I still did it. Crime scene thief. Her insults must have struck a nerve somewhere deep within the detective. For example, this. Isn't that... This is the bottle of carbonated water I brought to the victim's table that day. Now, 3 days later, it's just regular water. But this was uncarbonated water, let no one ever say otherwise. Looks like there's still water left in that bottle. I swear in this imminent new age, our country's police will become the world's best. I, Hasanaga, believe that with my very heart and soul. Look. Okay, cough up your lungs there, mate. I don't understand the witness himself, but I understood his claim. The court accepts that beautiful glass bottle as evidence. If I may, Miss Giselle. Is this, without a doubt, what the victim was drinking with you on that day? Yes, that very glass bottle. I feel like... just now, it looked like she tried to avert her eyes. Ooh. Very well. Let us get back to the cross-examination. Detective, please try to keep yourself together. Unfortunately, I do not know when the Professor burned himself. I simply enjoyed my beefsteak and shared a toast with him, remember? Just out of curiosity, what else can I say? I'm just going to take a look at the bottle. I'm pretty sure you can flip it around. There doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary here. What does this say on here? This label is written in a foreign language I've never seen before. What does it say, Asugi? It appears to be French. This seems like some kind of luxury item, but what does it say? Go to France and ask? You could have just said you didn't know. At the time, Professor Watson was drinking the carbonated water. There's still a little bit left, but it's probably flat by now. Oh, speaking of which, my throat is a little dry. Maybe I should drink some of this to soothe my throat. No, don't know. At the very least, you shouldn't drink the evidence for our case. Yeah, you're right. After all, we don't know if there's anything in it. You're always full of surprises. Wait a minute. This carbonated water. We don't know if there's anything in it. I wonder. What's wrong, Naruhodo? You were silent all of a sudden. Maybe. I just found another possibility. I mean, actually, looking back on it, well, it's actually I mean, that glass is pretty empty. Screw it, let's give it a go. Okay, this is the glass bottle from earlier. There's only one way the victim could have been killed without leaving a trace. Of course, that would be poison. Poison? That day, Professor Watson took a drink of this carbonated water. The liquid inside the bottle could have easily been contained poison. And when the Professor drank it, that's when he died. Order in the court. Who could have poisoned his drink? Maybe it was someone sitting at his table. Only one person fits that description, of course. That person would be Mr. Zailbrett. You poisoned John Watson. You little... How dare you make such a wild, baseless conjecture? Even a mere college student like you should understand the position our empire is in. We only just signed a Japanese-Anglo alliance treaty. Do you intend to destroy this historical relationship with your mad accusations? Objection. This is no place for politics. This is a court to judge criminal sins. What are you saying? Where she's from is irrelevant. Whether she's guilty or not is all that matters. Excuse me. May I interject? I, Haochi, will forcefully silence... Shut up! The one who should be silenced is you. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am! What in the world? Suddenly the air feels so tense. Please excuse my earlier remark. I fear it was quite rude. I sincerely apologise from the bottom of my heart. What remark could you be referring to? I called the Japanese police inexperienced, but even in their lack of experience, I'm sure they at least conducted a proper investigation. Surely they investigated whether or not this bottle was laced with poison. Of course we did. Huh? As I had stated earlier, I, Hosonaga, always strive for perfection. It is my life's goal. Oh? Then, naturally, we have inspected the contents of this glass bottle. My word. And what are the results? After analysing it of all poisons known to our country, our conclusion is... This carbonated drink contains no poison whatsoever. What? Are you absolutely sure? That is the conclusion reached by the Chief Imperial Medical Inspector himself. What? Well, please allow me to express my sincere gratitude to the people of this country. They so graciously prove my innocence. I am truly in your debt. Of course you did, but it's all part of the job, my lady. No thanks necessary. Well, how could this be? This is ridiculous. If he was poisoned, then all the pieces of the puzzles would fit together perfectly. It would seem that all has been made clear with this cross-examination. Other than this pistol, there are no other available means to murder the Professor. Therefore, the one who committed this crime can only be the defendant who was holding the weapon in his own hand. There's no hope. I do deeply apologise for taking up your time, Miss Brett. Don't worry about it, as long as everyone knows the truth. Defence, there is one thing I would like to confirm with you. Do you have any other new evidence that you wish to present? Possible, but oh, that glass is empty. The glass is empty there. Glass is full there. Oh! Wait, no. That means it was changed after the fact. Ha. Okay. Good. Lovely, we got that. I'm sorry, Naruto. We have nothing left. Well then, I'll take my leave of you all. See ya. I literally just thought, Mata! Oh? I must ask for your patience. I remember her. Who was that? I'm deeply sorry for interrupting this trial. I am a legal assistant. My name is Susato Mikutaba. Mikutaba? She appeared calm and dignified in our desperate final moments. In her hand she held a small bag, enveloped in cloth. Oh, to be continued. Okay. So we're still only like halfway through. Oh my god. Trial free? Trial free? Trial free. Trial free. Lovely. Nice. Here we go. Let's keep it going. Okay. Wow. 1:15. But yeah, no, the cups. There's something different about the cups in both of those pictures. This is exciting. And what business do you have here, legal assistant? Ha! And I was actually starting to worry, but it's just a legal assistant. A woman, even. First and foremost, there is no place for women in this Supreme Court. I am well aware of that. Please just spare me 5 minutes of your time. There is a piece of evidence I must deliver to the defence. Ha! Too late. This trial is already over. Safe for the sentencing. You get 5 minutes and not a second more. Your Honour? Thank you very much. Who are you? There's no time to explain. Hurry, take this. This is written in English. Looks like some kind of report. These are Giselle Brett's research documents. But ladies? Earlier, after recess ended, I went to Imperial Yume University. I borrowed these from Professor Watson's laboratory. I see. And this woman really was doing research with the professor. Are you implying that the research has something to do with this incident? I do not know. After all, I wasn't here to listen to the trial. Ah, that's right. Characteristics, reactions to, and effects on the human body of Cure. Cure? What's that? I've never heard of it. Time's up. I demand that this malcontent legal assistant be removed from a cult at once. I hadn't the time to do more than a glance over the document, but I did provide a simplified summary of its contents on the front. Please take a look through it yourselves, if you would like. Got it. Thank you so much. It's been filed into the court record. I'm going to take a look at that. Let's have a look at that right now. I need that. I need that right now. Come on. Details. Prepared from a vine, now classified as Strychnos toxifera, is only known to grow in the jungles of the Amazon. Since ancient times, the natives of that land have used it to hunt. Effect: even a very small dosage instantly paralyzes all muscles in the body, a fatal and deadly poison. Conditions: the poison is effective when it enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blow dart. Since this effect paralyzes all muscles in the body, it is being considered for use as an anesthetic, but due to paralysis of the body, allowing patients to breathe is a problem that would need to be resolved. Well, look at that, it's an unknown poison. Wish you good fortune. See you now, Suzuto. We cannot keep our British guest waiting any longer. I will ask you one last time. Does either the prosecution or defence wish to present any more evidence? Of course not. This trial already has more than enough evidence. Naruhodo, you no longer have the liberty of choice. This is quite literally your final chance. Yeah, I know. Your Honour, please allow us to present this piece of evidence. I recognise that fire in your eyes. That's the steadfast fire of a Japanese man who doesn't know the meaning of retreat. Witness, Miss Brett, may I ask you a question? Oh dear, what? Would you be willing to stay with us just a short while longer? I do appreciate the invitation. But it's almost time for my afternoon tea, thus I'll have to excuse myself. Miss Brett, I ask politely out of respect toward you and your homeland. You may not have understood me, but I will not take no for an answer. I can't help but think. You Japanese all defy basic logic. I'm sorry to impose, my lady. Ooh. The judge was basically like, no bitch, you sit down. Now, attorney. Present new evidence that you believe warrants further investigation. Well, of course it's going to be the new thing that we've just got. Literally. Giselle Brett. It appears you were conducting research in Professor Watson's research facilities. And what's more, you happen to be researching a deadly poison. Strange coincidence, eh? What? Deadly poison? What's the meaning of this? Its name is Cura. It's a deadly poison that requires only a small dose to cause certain death. What kind of joke is this? You must have gone off the deep end. Cura? I've never heard of poison like that. Of course you haven't. What? There's no reason that you'd know what it is. After all, until today, this poison was never known to exist in the Japanese Empire. It was never known to exist? Yes. In other words, the Imperial Police can examine all they like, but they'll never be able to detect this poison. Simply because the methods to detect it haven't been developed in Japan. What? Order, order, order in the court! Do poisons as terrifying as this really exist? According to the research documents written by Miss Brett. The hunting tribes of South America have used this poison to hunt since ancient times. To the researchers and medical students in Europe, this seems to be common knowledge. They hunt with poison? A deadly poison extracted from the bark of trees that grow in the Amazon jungles. It was discovered after explorers brought some back to Europe. If you were to be hit by a blow dart smeared with this, its poison would kill you instantly. Isn't that right, miss? Your claims are all nonsense. First off, if the victim was poisoned, then he would have been writhing in pain. Everyone in Lycanthos would have noticed. Indeed. Your thoughts, detective? Certainly, if a man was writhing in pain, I would have been on the scene immediately. Come to think of it, I don't remember the professor being in pain. According to these documents, the complete opposite should be expected. What? The opposite? The victim did not exhibit any manner of being in pain. That in itself could be evidence that Cura was used. Because it's a paralysis poison, you will not make any noise or pain. The instant the poison enters the body, it will paralyze all muscles. In other words, you would lose the ability to move any of your limbs. Even if the victim felt any pain, he or she would not be able to express it. My word! Of course, if you lost control of his muscles, the victim would collapse. However, if you used a chair to prop the body up, any bystanders would be none the wiser. But Asugi, there's something I don't quite understand. How does paralysing only the muscles result in instant death? Trouble to breathe. You might regret asking that question. As you know, the victim can no longer move once the poison takes hold. Remember, your respiratory system needs to use muscles as well. The poison prevents that. Then you wouldn't be able to breathe? In short, the most accurate cause of death would be suffocation. In several minutes. Yeah, I see a glaring contradiction here. They're going to bring up the fact that the autopsy report says it's death by bullet. Okay, for several minutes the victim is still unconscious but unable to move or cry for help. Inconceivable. To any onlookers, it would look like a painless sleep-like instant death. But for the victim, I couldn't imagine more cruel death. That's the truth of Kura. In this glass bottle is full of such cruel, deadly poison? That's enough nonsense from you. We don't know the poison, so we can't detect it. Don't play games with me. May I speak? A student quibbling with nonsensical theories? How about... Shut up! Shut up! The one who ought to be learning is you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am! Is this how you Japanese always handle things? What do you mean? Stealing a lady's research documents, waving them around as though your discovery? Barbaric isn't a strong enough word to describe you monsters. Rest assured that we feel the same way about you. Why would you filthy ants think you could look down on me? Taking advantage of those less learned to get away with murder? That sounds barbaric enough to me. Do you agree? Or do you disagree, milady? All that aside, I refuse to accept your claims. You claim this fair lady is the wielder of poison that we don't even know of? What a farce! What's so funny? Excuse me, Your Honour, was it? Yes, Miss Brett. May I borrow that glass bottle for a moment? She's gonna drink it. You little Japanese cretins should learn not to be so conceited. What are you on about now? From a British woman's perspective, this farce is nothing more than child's play. Fraudulent police and the petulant husk of the court is laughable. But it's about time we end this childish game. Cheers. How could you? Just a sec. When it enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blow dart. Since its effect paralyzes, yeah, that's cool. Cool. Mere carbonated water and now flat. Fitting indeed for such a dull court as this. Oh my. What's the matter? You all look like you've seen a living ghost. Then there was no cure inside that glass bottle. Hee. Your face tells me that you can't believe it, but this is reality. I must thank you for presenting the result of my research to the court. You've done a fine job, little boy. Now, Your Honour. Oh, yes, ma'am. May I finally take my leave this time? I think I've cooperated with you enough for a day, even if it's for the sake of our empires. I apologise, my lady. Words cannot express my gratitude. Big, dumb energy. That's impossible. There had to be been deadly poison inside that bottle. So then how? How could she drink it all and still be standing there, alive and well? You think the Cure poison was laced in the swapped cup? I doubt that. I'm glad I had the chance to enjoy this one-act comedy here on this tiny island in the Far East. My friends in Britain are sure to laugh at this lovely little story. Did that bottle contain poison or not? And if it did, then why is she still standing? I should already have the clues needed to answer this question. Was there really deadly poison contained within that bottle? There is not. I guess there wasn't any poison in the bottle. Oh, Naruto. If there is, then she would be dead. Sometimes your naivete is so mystifying it leaves me in a fog. Maybe you should be clear, Dark Knight. Like our school uniform. Is that really what a uniform is supposed to be to represent? I'll have to give you a penalty for that reckless statement. Why was it a reckless statement? I feel like drinking poison myself. It did, and if it did, well, she's still standing. I should already have the clues. Yes, there is. The culprit laced Professor Watson's carbonated water with Cure. No, the defense insists on this claim. What? I mean, I'm not going to change your mind that Asogi's hot, honestly. He's pretty cool. There is no way the bottle could have any poison in it, because Miss Brett drank that water herself, right? Indeed. It's an obvious contradiction. There may very well be an explanation for that contradiction. But what? Let's think about this mystery, step by step. The answer must be in the court record. Yep. Because it requires a wound, not ingestion. I ask that you present your evidence. Why is the witness still standing after drinking the laced water laced with Cure? Research that states that it has to be through a wound. The answer we need is, of course, within the research documents. That couldn't give us any kind of answer. Huh? After all, this document and the English language are impossible for us to understand. You impertinent amateur, don't dare ridicule me. I'm not trying to ridicule you, and I'm not putting on airs. Indeed, this document is far too large for us to read here. Defense, I suggest you be more specific. Where in this document, very answer you seeks, it was characteristics. I'll make double sure. Summary, characteristics through a wound, conditions, characteristics. Why is Aoshi so useless? Because he's meant to be the first prosecutor of the case. It's a trope in the series. Up until now, I've heard a lot about Cure, and there's just one thing that caught my attention. And what was that? Primitive tribe use this poison to hunt. They smear blow darts with poison before shooting their prey. Indeed, that seems to be correct so far. Naturally, these hunters proceed to eat their kills, right? What are you getting at? Think about it. The carcass still has traces of poison in its blood. That's right. Normally, people wouldn't eat meat tainted with poison, right? You can say that again. I wouldn't dream of eating something like that. That's when I realised. In this document, there is an explanation on the characteristics. It states that symptoms only occur when poison enters through a wound. A wound? The specificity of it all caught my eye. In other words, The truth to be discerned from his document is this. Cura, when entered through a wound, is a deadly poison. However, when ingested, Cura is completely harmless. What? Miss Brett, you knew of Cura's special characteristics. That's why you could drink it all with such overflowing confidence. You impudent little... Oh, it's actually... Oh god, it's an actual swan. Jesus. Oh, brilliant. Naruhodo. Oh, he's got a nice smile. You're far exceeding my expectations. You really do have potential as an attorney. Asogi. Me? An attorney? Objection! As if such a convenient poison actually exists in the first place. If that's the case, then why... Shut up! Look, an ignorant little monkey thinks he's grasped real intelligence for the first time. What we can do is swing it around ineptly like a new toy. Cut to the chase. There is a fatal contradiction in that sloppy little claim, boy. Little boy? Contradiction? As you may have guessed, Cura is a poison that's safe to drink. We believe that it's neutralized when it reacts with summoner acid. Totally makes sense, doesn't it? What's this about that stomach acid? However, if it is safe to drink this deadly poison, wouldn't the professor have survived drinking it? Ah. Indeed. That makes sense. That swan is so cool. We civilized people call this science. Do you follow so far, little boy? Order, order, order in the court. If both of them drank the same poison, then naturally the results would be the same. Then that means... this poison called Cura has nothing to do with the incident. Exactly. Even that should be comprehensible to a little boy left behind by civilization. What is this feeling? Something is welling up inside me, something I've never felt before. The conviction to stand against contradictions, a feeling like righteous anger. I'll strike with all I have. It all starts with the tip of my finger. Time to corner my prey. Hey! Don't play stupid, Jezzael. That's a big mask. Or is that held right to the screen? But where did that fire in your eyes come from? You already know the answer. Even if both of you and the victim drank from the very same bottle of water, you already know why only the victim died. You know the reason for this contradiction. I order you to present your evidence, attorney. If our witness can drink this so-called deadly poison without batting an eye, why did only the victim succumb to the poison? I'm gonna have to say it's to do to the hand, because that is a wound. I'm going to have to give it a go and say... No, okay, got the wrong answer, have I? I'm not sure I can trust this evidence. Especially when you look so skeptical towards me. Hey, Naruhodo, don't overthink it. Curia is poison that is only dangerous when it enters the blood through a wound. So in other words, when Professor Watson drank his carbonated water, he must have had some kind of wound that allowed the poison to enter his bloodstream. Exactly. Do I have evidence for this? Oh, inside his mouth? Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm stupid. I am just so bloody dumb because of the wound inside his mouth. Okay. Professor Watson and the witness did indeed drink the same water, but I don't think of the water. Think of the main differences between the people who drank it. What differences do you have in mind? Curia only becomes poisonous when it enters the blood through a wound. Thus, if a healthy person ingests it, it's entirely harmless. However, if it passed over an open wound as you drank it, what do you suppose would happen? An open wound? Yes, for example, maybe a certain someone visits a dental clinic. Maybe he had a tooth removed. Giselle, you've mentioned it a few times. You were aware that Professor Watson had his tooth extracted. Then the witness used that to her advantage. Are we going for the breakdown? Is this the breakdown? Oh. Here we go. What's happening? Why is she laughing? Since we've come this far, I shall reiterate what I said earlier. Truly, this is like a child's game, a mock trial filled to the brim with naivete. What do you mean? This is what I mean, little boy. Ooh. What accident might befall this precious evidence you handed over so carelessly? Don't! Allow me to teach you an important lesson. Oh my, whatever will you do? Your precious little evidence is gone now. What? What? What on earth just happened? That brick she smashed the bottle into pieces. This is trial by the Supreme Court. What kind of disgrace is this? What are you doing? Bailiff! Quickly, retrieve what water you can immediately. A futile effort. This carpet is a gift from the British Empire. It does quite a fine job of absorbing water. Your methods aren't advanced enough to collect any. Safe to say, it's impossible. Oh. How could you do this? You won't get away with this. Well, no matter how hard this little boy cries and slams his desk, we will never find out whether or not the bottle contained poison for the rest of eternity. You monster! While on the other hand, the evidence that supports my claim yet stands. Isn't that right, Sir Prosecutor? Yes, you speak of this photograph. That's right, anyone who sees this photograph would agree. The poor professor was sitting with his back turned to me. The only one who should have shot the victim from the front is this little boy. Here's what really happened. On that day you used Curia to poison the victim. Following that, in order to pin that crime on Ryusuke Naruto, you took action when you saw him picking up the pistol from the floor. You drew your own concealed pistol and shot the professor's corpse. Then, in the ensuing chaos, all you had to do was rotate the chair around with the body. And with that in mind, you're still a suspect. You've got quite an imagination, little boy. I concealed the pistol. I shot his corpse. There's no evidence in the world that could prove that. Exactly. As long as there isn't any evidence, the prosecution's stance will not change. The victim, Professor Watson, was shot by Ryunosuke Naruto. The defendant is the one and only suspect. Darn it, this is absurd. We've come so far, and now she's going to get away like this? All we can do is watch as she destroys evidence for her own gain? Naruto. Asogi. I've helped you come this far, but now the trial is in your hands. Why me? We've lost our decisive evidence. Right now, if there are any final clues, they would only exist in your mind. Within my mind? Remember, you said you at least had confidence in your own observational skills. But of course. Never mind that I managed to overlook that flashy Western diva. Think back to the moment of the crime. Remember what you saw, what you felt, even the colours and the smells. What I saw and what I felt. Even the colours. I wonder, does the answer really lie dormant within my chromatic memories? A clue that points towards the culprit who shot Professor Watson does exist. Asugi, I think I may have found it. The clue that lies dormant within my memories. Truly, you never cease to amaze me. Take that clue and shove it in their faces. Right, I'll do just that. There's one strange feeling that lies dormant within my memories. Could that be the key that opens the door to the truth? The clue that reveals the true culprit is blood. Detective Hosonaga, I've got a question for you. Yes. How can I help you? It looks like he's still in shock from that glass bottle shattering. As I recall, you claimed that you always try for perfection, right? Exactly. Then, Detective, is it safe to assume that you confiscated everything from the scene? Including, perhaps, the beefsteak plate that was left on the victim's table? Hold on, but shut up! What kind of joke is this? It's no joke. This is all about my memories. What of your memories? During that time, I'd seen it. I saw what was shown in this photograph on the scene. Notice the wooden slab being used to carry the beefsteak. I saw blood on it. What? So? I'm sure he splattered on it after you shot the professor. Wrong. Try again. Take a closer look at how everything and everyone is arranged in the photo. The beefsteak plate is more or less located directly behind the victim. If I shot the professor from the front, then it would be impossible for the blood to splash on the plate behind him. I see. If there are bloodstains on the plate, then that would mean the person who shot the victim would be the one sitting on the other side of the table. That would be none other than Giselle Brett. What? The audacity of such a ridiculous claim is galling. Your own memories. Do you really expect us to believe a murderer's tale? I, Satoru Hosonaga, believe I became a detective for the sake of this very moment. Detective Hosonaga? Then you mean Of course, I did indeed bring it with me. In the name of honest crime scene preservation. Call me a crime scene thief if you must. I even took the half-eaten meat. What? This lady's meal, and even the soldier's meal. I confiscated it all indiscriminately in the name of justice. Present it for inspection right away. We have to see if Giselle's plate has the blood on it. Come on, we gotta get the breakdown. Detective, I order you to present the beefsteak that was at the victim's table on the day of the incident. Yes, sir! I apologize for the delay. This is the beefsteak in question. So, what about the blood? Did you find any? It's impossible. It can't be there. Quickly now, present it to the court. Show us all the blood! Yes, very well. Look to your heart's content. There's no blood. Where's the blood? I don't see any. No! No! Why? I know, I saw it. I swear it was there. The plate of beefsteak was right behind the professor, and there was blood on it. Oh? You ought to see the look on your face, little boy. Oh. Everyone in the civilized world knows that the Japanese can't be trusted. I couldn't agree more. You damned Japanese. Oh God. Seeing Ouchie or hearing Ouchie say that. The court has now reached a conclusion once and for all. But of course, as for this pitiful mock trial, let's just forget this ever happened, shall we? Look at it all you want, but you'll never find any blood in this sorry piece of meat. Look at it with your sorry eyes. Look with your special eyes. I'm going to check that actually. Good point, Cub. Yeah, there's no bite marks on that, boy. That's the wrong plate. This time, it's certain we've lost. Naruto, the gavel still hasn't swung on your fate. Believe in yourself. Keep looking forward until that bitter end. Okay. The victim didn't eat the food. That's Giselle's meat. But why would she swap apart from with the blood? No issues were found with the evidence requested by the defence. Therefore, the inspection of all evidence in the question ends here. Do you have any objections, attorney? I of course do. The bloodstain was supposed to be the finishing blow. Are there any more clues that I can find in the professor's beefsteak? Oh, press the wrong one. Your Honour, please wait. This beefsteak right here still holds a shocking truth within it. The only shocking truth is your abnormal obsession with that beefsteak. Your Honour, I'm sure you're aware, but we can talk about boring little details all day, but it'll never amount to anything. We've come this far. It's only fair to inspect every piece of the evidence fully. This is a decision held by the Supreme Court. My sincerest apologies, milady. I thought we were allies. Are you sure that was the right thing to say? Your Honour, the court orders the defence to explain further. Point a lead that you say was hidden in the beefsteak dish on the victim table. I'm going to examine first. Oh! 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 It's that Jabon. No. Joban? Joban. What is that? This is a Koban. Koban, that's the one. Judging by the seal, I guess it's from the Hoei era. No, that's not the point. Why was there a Koban sitting under this beefsteak? Hold on a second. Did you say Hoei era? That's right. It's covered in meat sauce, but that wouldn't decrease its value. A Koban from the Hoei era. Where have I heard that before? Oh! I've heard of pearls before swine, but gold before bovine would be a first. Oh my god. I don't know if that's a pure translation, but that's beautiful. If that's the pure translation, brilliant. If it's by the translation team, I love you. Pearls before swine, but gold before bovine. Nice one. I really doubt you will ever hear that again. Honestly, it's incredible we've even found this. It's hard to believe such precious corn would be found under a hunk of meat. Especially considering that objects from the Hoei area are so valuable. Yeah, and now it's covered with all that thick gravy. But are you planning on eating it, Naruhood? Very funny. Well, the next time someone serves me beefsteak in the restaurant, I'll be sure to give the meat a careful flip before I dig in. I hope you aren't mistaking beefsteak for some kind of lottery. We found the Koban under the beefsteak. All I can think of is... Crocodile! This is... Koban? What in the world is that? The soldier was planning to steal it. And there was an accusation of it. Oh my god. It's gone full circle. That's the plate of meat of the soldier. Oh my god. Giselle. This is allegedly the beefsteak you were eating before you murdered John Watson. Could you explain why something like this was under the meat? Shut up! Whoa. What are you talking about? As if I would know. I have never seen that before. Don't bring me into your Japanese nonsense. Who cares about that? It's just a Koban under the meat. I'm sure it wound up there by coincidence, due to some chef's carelessness. Objection. What kind of kitchen randomly gets something like this mixed in with their food? When we happened to turn up the steak, there was a Hoei era Koban wedged underneath. If this reality has no relation to the incident, I would gladly quit the exchange program. He has a point. That is the soldier's meat. Excuse me, Your Honour. What is it, attorney? When we turned over the meat, we found a Koban under it. If this really has nothing to do with the incident, then I will gladly step down as an attorney. No one asked you to be one in the first place. If you want to stop, then go right ahead. Shut up. The only thing here that has nothing to do with the incident is you, little boy. Then why am I on trial? In any case, we must find the owner of his Koban and listen to what he has to say. The owner of his Koban. Yeah. Now that I think about it, there's only one man it could belong to. The owner of the Koban, hidden underneath the beefsteak, is none other than this tall-headed guy. Lost a gold coin from the Hoei era during the incident. Claire? What? Let's go! That would be... I don't want to pronounce his name. The owner of the Hall of Discard Antique Shop, Sanmon Sonohara Gurashi. Sonny, how typical of Japanese to have such bizarre names. Oh my god. This is brilliant. Oh, as I recall, that's the name of the old man who testified alongside the soldier earlier. Yes, Your Honour. Indeed, he mentioned a Koban earlier. He testified that when the crime occurred... Oh, get the old man voice. I crept onto the table and heard a sharp gunshot shortly thereafter. Crept under the table? What were you doing down there? Searching for a lost item. The Koban! A precious coin from the Hui era. A Hui era Koban? But this must be his. But wait! Why would a Koban from an antique shop end up hidden beneath a beefsteak on the victim's dining table? I think we should hear the reason for that from the owner of the Koban himself. Bailiff, have the two witnesses from earlier be brought back here as soon as possible. Find them immediately. Who'd have thought those two would come back up at this point? In any case, call it a hunch, but I'm almost certain. If I can explain why this Koban was under the beefsteak, I have no doubt that this will lead to the way to the truth behind this incident. Is this another to be continued? No, we're going straight to it. Come on. We got 4 people at the stand. There's the babies and the soldier and the old guy. Come on. What business do you have with me now? It's time for me, Usukumaru, to feed my son, Kuramaru, his meal. When my boy Kuramaru gets hungry, he's more ferocious than a street mutt. When we treated as mere dogs of the police, we were revealed to have borne false witness. We are branded as discard ourselves before being banished from these halls of judgment. Thus, heretofore have I decided shall I carry on in my twilight, never more to utter a word. Please confirm one thing for us, owner of the Hall of Discard. Have you seen this Koban before? Oh! That is indeed... That, no doubt, that's truly... the glimmering, glowing Hui relic that I lost on that abominable day. What? I knew it. Young one, would you enlighten this senile old fool, who knows not how much time he has left? Where did my fallen rare treasure disappear to? I don't know if fallen is the right term for it, but... your Koban was wedged between a spicy piece of meat and an iron plate. But what? It was between meat and iron plate, you say? Needless to say, it is impossible for a coin to fall into such a place. In other words, someone was hiding it in there. My Koban was hidden between a piece of meat and an iron plate? Who was it? Who committed this atrocious act? With all due respect, may I say something? Detective Hosonaga? You may, Detective. Oh. The soldier's sweating. As you all know, I, Hosonaga, infiltrated a restaurant as a waiter in order to secretly investigate a series of incidents. Oh, yes, you did mention an undercover investigation. La Cantos is a high-class restaurant where foreigners and wealthy customers gather. Recently, a certain individual started stealing from customers using a similar trick. Indeed, that's what was reported to the Imperial Police headquarters. The world is full of despicable cowards, to be sure. Many of the victims are foreigners, thus we were ordered to resolve the matter post-haste. So the reason you infiltrated the restaurant? Yes, I disguised myself as a waiter to catch this detestable, atrocious individual red-handed. It's plausible that this Koban was another of the thieves' targets. There is a great thief in Lacantos? We were unaware of this. I suppose this restaurant has already seen enough crime. Whether they can be called a great thief is up for debate, but the identity of the individual who hid the Koban is obvious. What? Really? Alright, defense. Let's hear it then. The detestable thief that stole this old man's Koban and hid it under the beefsteak is Uzukumaru Taizo. Soldier of the Imperial Army, rank sergeant, saw the incident. Boom. Of course, it couldn't be anyone but you. Sergeant Uzukumaru. Oh, the baby's shocked as well. You little delinquent. I've heard enough. Delinquent? Koban thief? Great thief of Lacantos? You're really going to indict my son, Kuromaru? He's the culprit? How could you pin your own crimes on an innocent little baby? That's awful! You're the most delinquent one in this court, Sergeant Uzukumaru. Oh, we got a breakdown. Ah! No! Gallop, 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 gallop. Gallop. Ooh! Oh, I like how his hairstyle's the same. Imperial Army Sergeant Uzukumaru, reporting for duty. That was a weird breakdown, but that was pretty cool. That guy's mustache is messed up now. Pushing the baby down. Gallop, gallop, gallop. Do you even know? Do you know how shockingly little the Empire pays its soldiers to protect our lands? Indeed, the temporary tax increases from our last war have yet to be repealed. I'm told that lower-ranking soldiers are living especially destitute lives. All I wanted was to be able to give Kuromaru warm food. So you decided to start stealing from others. Lacantos caters to the wealthy. Once every 3 days I visit a restaurant to hunt for my prey. All the while biting off chunks of that delectable beefsteak. Sure enough, he doesn't look like someone who could use a knife and fork. So you did steal Sona Higarikashi's Koban. I did. Stealing from him was easier than taking candy from a baby. I deposited the coin in my pocket. Quite the great thief indeed. I moved to escape, leaving my half-eaten beefsteak. Suddenly, bang! A murder unfolded before you. If someone happened to check my pockets, my reputation would be ruined. Horrified by the very idea, I hid the Koban. I shoved it under the beefsteak, hoping that I might find it again someday. Everyone's quiet. Ooh. But then that begs the question. Your beefsteak? beefsteak. This is ridiculous. I grow incredibly weary of being forced to bear witness to such worthless farce of a trial. Giselle. Oh, how improper of us. This time I swear to end this senseless bore of a trial. All I ask you to go home with a smile on your face, milady. Indeed. This child-rearing soldier was the one who stole Sonogashi's koban. But I can't say with confidence that this theft is related to the murder. Exactly. What kind of barbarian would hide a coin under meat? Only the Japanese, I suppose. God, racism. God. Barbarian? Even worse, he gnawed at it without using so much a knife and a fork. Even the barbarians are more civilized than you lot. Britons spit on that kind of conduct. Now that all doubts have been cleared from that testimony, the court will allow the witnesses to leave. You are free to return, milady. But I shall be taking my leave. I bid you farewell. No! Ciao. What's wrong, Naruto? This is no time to be daydreaming. Well, something about Giselle's parting words just bothered me is all. I can't get my mind off it. It's like when I found a contradiction in her testimony earlier. When you have to speak, don't overthink it. Don't even think about it at all. Huh? You can think after you talk. Now object before the trial ends. Giselle, wait! Is there still something you need? This is my last question, Giselle. I mean it. I just need to explain one thing for me. There was a contradiction in your parting words. I need you to explain that. Come again? What contradiction? What are you trying to pull? What do you mean, Naruto? Did you notice something about her parting words? What kind of barbarian would hide a coin under meat? Only the Japanese, I suppose. Even worse, he gnawed at it without using so much as a knife and fork. Even the barbarians are more civilized than you lot. Britons spit on that kind of conduct. I knew it. There's definitely a decisive contradiction in there. Very well, attorney. I order you to present your evidence. Show us the evidence that proves there is a contradiction in Giselle Brett's statement. I mean, would it be this one? Or the plate itself? No, it would be this one. Lunch Giselle said to have ordered. See from the table directly following the incident. That's the one. Yep. This is the beefsteak that Miss Brett was eating before the crime. To be more precise, this is the beefsteak on the victim's table at the time of the incident. What does it matter? They both mean the same thing. If you look closely, you might notice something unusual about this beefsteak. What's unusual about it? That would be the way the meat was cut, of course. Have you caught on yet, Giselle? Explain yourself. Now, Giselle made a strange claim before. She said that she would never bite into a beefsteak without using a knife and fork. Well, of course, she's a lady after all. Then look at the way the meat was cut. As you can see, these patterns are animalistic bite marks. Looks like she's seen her mistake, too. If a witness had elegantly eaten her meal with a knife and fork, then the beefsteak wouldn't have crude bite marks like this. But regardless of how she ate it, what are you getting at? Maybe Milady was so famished that she couldn't help but chomp down. Shut up! Oh, she's sweating. Oh, what's the matter, milady? I really must excuse myself. I'll be late for my afternoon tea with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Oh, but I promise you this trial will be over very soon. Leave it to me, Prosecutor Ouchie, and I will render that. Shut up! Shut your mouth, four-eyed samurai scum! Yes, ma'am! Whoa, she's really losing her composure now. It looks like she's finally starting to understand just what the bite marks imply. What? Naruto? This time, the puzzle's really coming together. First, she claims to use a knife and fork, but her steak is covered in bite marks. Then, the bloodstain I remembered somehow disappeared. And now, I have evidence that I can prove the culprit is the one who really shot Professor Watson. Indeed, those bite marks may be unusual, but I still fail to see how this clears up. Why, it clears everything, of course. Everything? I'd wager these disgusting bite marks are connected to a decisive piece of evidence. The evidence that will finally prove who really shot Professor Watson. I'm fed up listening to you prattle on. What decisive evidence could you have? It doesn't exist. It's so like you Japanese to try and cheap bluff like this. What makes you so sure about that? Simple. Had such a thing existed, it would have been presented long ago. Yes, you're right, it hasn't been presented yet. But what? But even if it hasn't been presented, evidence still exists. That's absurd. Who keeps evidence hidden this far into the trial? This sort of thing just doesn't happen. But I know exactly the person who possesses such evidence. Once I request that evidence, the entire mystery surrounding this incident will be resolved. Very well, this will be my last request to you, attorney. Tell us who holds the final piece of evidence. It's the butler. He's got all the evidence. He's got the soldiers. He's got the soldier's plate. What do you mean by of course? Huh? I would never conceal evidence. That's preposterous. No, that's not what I meant at all. I'd like everyone to focus on this. The bite marks on this beefsteak. Earlier, Sergeant Usukumaru said this, biting off chunks of that delectable beefsteak. Then he stole Sonohigashi's koban and hid it under the beefsteak. What are you doing, kid? You think you can fight a soldier? Sergeant, I have a question for you. Just to make sure. You did hide this koban under your own beefsteak, right? Of course. While I may be a soldier, I have not the gall to just slip something under a lady's meal right in front of her. In other words, Detective Hasanaga actually presented your own beefsteak to the court. But isn't that strange? This beefsteak was found on the victim's table. She claims to have used a fork and knife, and she had no way to steal the koban. Of course not. The very thought is an insult to the Great British Empire. If all of this is true, what are we supposed to make of this contradiction? Oh, I see now. Are you saying that the sergeant had switched his own meal with his victims? Maybe the other way around there, Archie. Well, is that what you're saying? The truth is, at the time of the incident, when the man was murdered right in front of me, my mind went blank. Before I realised what I was doing, I had turned over my beefsteak and hidden the koban. The waiter came over and revealed that he was a detective preventing my escape. If that detective looked under my meat, he would have shattered my life to pieces. I saw an opening when the student was being arrested and led to the kitchen. I swished my beefsteak with Miss Brett's as fast as I could. Huh? I didn't know anything about that. I did not witness that. I executed my strategy as fast as lightning. There was no time to think. In that moment, there were no other options. That's right. I had no choice but to do it. What? What? The first time he's actually right. I actually indicted properly. However, rest assured, prosecutor. Assured of what? I swear to you, as an Imperial soldier, I have now told you everything. That's my whole story. I don't want to hear your story to begin with. It's been established that the beefsteaks were switched. That means Sergeant Sukumaru took Giselle's meal and brought it to his own table. Indeed, that seems to be the case. Detective Hosonaga. Yes? I remember what you said about the beefsteaks. You collected both Giselle and Sergeant Izukumaru's beefsteaks, right? You seized both of them as evidence. Indeed I did. Now's the time to present the other one. Show us the beefsteak tray that was on Giselle's table before the switch. What is that beefsteak supposed to prove? There's no way that cold, dry, stiff piece of meat can have any relation to this incident. That isn't going to fly, milady. What is wrong with you? First off, you should be able to recall this. What is it that brought the beefsteaks into this debate again? Aren't you the one who brought it up? The source of this debate all began with this man's memory. Memory? At that moment I saw it clearly. The beefsteak dish that should have been right behind Professor Watson definitely had a blood stain on it. I have faith in the defendant's memories. The one piece of evidence that corroborates his memories is the lady's beefsteak plate. I've said beefsteak for more than I've actually expected to be ever saying in my lifetime. Very well then, detective. I hereby order you to present the other beefsteak. Show us Miss Brett's beefsteak, the one that was moved to the soldier's table. Yes, Your Honor. I apologize for the wait. This is the other beefsteak. Please look to your heart's content. I see the blood on there. The bloodstain. I can see it. And now you all see the truth. This bloodstain here confirms that when the victim was shot, his back was turned to me. In other words, it is impossible for Naruto to shoot the victim. It can't be. The only one who could have shot Professor Watson was in front of him at that time. And only one person meets that description. Do I need to continue? That's right. That person would be Giselle Brett. You are the culprit. Here we go. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh. That was a very restrained breakdown. Sort of let down by that. I can't believe these damn Japanese have bested me. Oh, no, there we go. Oh, here we go. Shut up. Damn you! God damn you! Oh. Off she goes. What? What? No. Okay. I want to keep one of those little birds now. Okay, honey, oh God. I need to keep my composure now. Okay. My deepest apologies. I seem to have lost myself in a state of despair for a moment. That was most unbecoming of a lady of a great British Empire. I beg your forgiveness. Then witness. Will you finally tell us the truth? Gladly. The one who killed the professor with Curie was me, of course. You have already guessed why I chose that specific day to carry out my plan. I already knew that he would have had a tooth removed that day. And so the professor died. And if the water was investigated, no poison would be found. Because in Japan, Curie might as well not exist. On that day, I had not planned for such a long stay in that restaurant. One sip was all I needed to ensure he drank this, and that would be the end of it. First I ordered beefsteak to place in front of him, so that it would seem he was dining alone. I had intended to withdraw from the scene immediately after. However, suddenly an unexpected individual appeared. Would that be me? Yes, of course, I'm referring to you. Because you just had to come up and say hello, even though you had no pressing business. I lost my chance to withdraw from the scene. Eventually, the professor drank his glass and lost consciousness. I propped up his body on a chair so he wouldn't fall over and cause a scene. This was the point of no return. There, in the spur of the moment, I concocted my plan. A plan to frame the defendant for Professor Watson's death. The professor always carried that pistol for self-defense. I realized that I could use it to my advantage. On that day, I had brought with me a small bottle of Curie within my handbag. But underneath my skirt, I had also concealed a pistol of my own. Under your skirt? I knew it. There really were 2 pistols. Yes. Then, by the time I had finished my coffee and moved to leave the restaurant, you had already thrown his pistol on the floor, right? You put him in my line of sight. You knew I would walk by you on the way out. Just as I planned, you took notice of the stray pistol. Then, just when you picked it up, bang! That was when you fired your hidden pistol. The professor was already dead by that time, so you shot his corpse. The sound of the gunshot echoed within the establishment, and the waiter appeared. I restrained the defendant, whom I thought was the culprit, and locked him in the storeroom at the back of the kitchen. That was my chance to turn the professor's chair so his back was facing the table. Naturally, that was so Professor Watson would appear as though he had been shot by the defendant. That is all I have to say. I told you everything about my crime. Not everything. The question is, why? Your Honor. Yes? If you would be so kind. I would like to have a private chat with you after the end of the trial. Yes, I will call for you. And with that, I bid all of you goodbye. I hope you will all forgive me one day, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh. Basically, got an apology there. Still quite ladylike in finishing, I will have to say. Okay. I reckon he's going to get fired, the judge. And thus, this trial seems to have come, finally, to a clear conclusion. Do you have any objections, Prosecutor Ouchi? Impossible. Me, Takechi Ouchi, defeated by an amateur university student. Hereafter, your walk down the prosecutor's path will be a fair bit harsher. Ryosuke Naruto? Yes? I swear to you, until the end of days, the Ouchi clan will be a royal pain in your side. The prideful men of the old will be toppled by the younger generation. That's the natural course of history. Make sure your descendants know that as well. Whoa, whoa! Always to do with the hair. 100 generations may pass, but your descendants will never rival those of this man. That is definitely in reference to all the Ouchies, or the Winston Pains, the Pains of the other series, as I'm sure. On this day, this trial held within our most hallowed Supreme Court marks the beginning of a new chapter in the history of law in this country. Even standing here as your own attorney, your defence was superb. But thank you, Your Honour. In this current age, the court is where the truth is pursued through use of evidence and logic. As you all know, it has been decades since our country's borders were open to the world. Due to the knowledge brought from the West, our country now knows the concept of science. Science will breathe life into the new methods of investigation and the trials to follow. what awaits us beyond the door to the future of law. As the new generation of the law, it is your responsibility to open said door. Kazuma Asugi. Yes? After this trial, you will begin your journey to the British Empire as a student of law. A vast world and a new culture awaits you. Make sure you learn from it. Accomplish the mission imposed upon you. Understood, Your Honor. But what's wrong? Your face is so tense. It's nothing, don't worry about it. And you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Sir? I cannot be sure exactly what it is about you, but I sense astounding potential in you. Where will you go from here? I'll be waiting at the edge of my seat. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Now then. Do you mind? There we go. Now then. I shall declare the final verdict for the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Not guilty. Asogi still looks a little bit sad there. Court is adjourned. Okay. Well, I can't believe I'm really standing here now. I survived a battle in the Supreme Court. Naruhodo, you've really done it. Let me be the first to congratulate you. And let me be the first to thank you, Asogi. Your defense was exhilarating to watch. Just don't forget that you owe me an extra large beef hot pot at Yumi Cafeteria. Brilliant work today, both of you. Oh, it's her. That's an oddly deep voice. A not guilty verdict. Congratulations from the bottom of my heart. Hello there, Legal Assistant Mikitaba. You really came through for us. Oh no, I haven't done anything. Thank you very much. If it weren't for those documents, I can't bear to imagine what might have happened. You should save your thanks for my father. All I did was follow his instructions to rush to Yume University. Your father? That's right, I remember. I'm deeply sorry for the interrupting this trial. I'm legal assistant. My name is Sutoto Mikitaba. Or Mikitoba. Mikitoba, that would mean... Hello everyone, good work out there. You surprised me especially, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Thank you, sir. Oh no, I should be the one to thank you. After all, you exposed the culprit's true identity, the person who deprived my friend of his life. His friend? Come to think of it, you mentioned that earlier. You were the one who invited Professor Watson to Yume. Yes, that is correct. Professor Mikitaba spent decades studying in the British Empire. Is that when you came to know Professor Watson? Yes, that is correct. We began working together at a certain hospital during my time abroad. You see? Really? I didn't know that. Ah, it's ancient history. Let's talk about something more important. Asogi, it's your turn now. The Great British Empire is the de facto ruler of the world. It is truly a grand civilization. Science, medicine, industry, culture, and even criminology. You will bear witness to what unfolds in the heart of the world. Yes, sir, I'm ready to see my mission through to its end. And I'll carry the soul of the Asogi family throughout. Are you still going to carry that katana around after you arrive in the British Empire? Of course. The katana is the heart of the Japanese people, a sharp blade that can cut through anything. It'll guide me on the road ahead. Honestly, it's frightening just how sharp that blade really is. Susato is legal in Japan. The age of consent is 13. If I had a nickel for, well, if I had a pound for every time I heard that phrase. The true culprit behind Professor Watson's murder, Giselle Brett. You want to know about her? To be honest, I don't like talking about it. What do you mean? Since she's the culprit, she'll be taken to trial next, right? She's leaving this country. She should be headed to Shanghai soon. Shanghai? Huh? She will never be judged in this empire. What? Why not? Due to the invocation of the extraterritorial rights. Detective Hosonaga! That was a truly wonderful display of modern trial tactics today. Let me congratulate you on your hard work. Wait, before you do that, what do you mean by invocation of extraterritorial rights? Our empire is unable to judge that foreign woman's crime. We're unable to judge her? Then who on earth will judge her sins? Her only trial will be in the consular courts of the British Empire. Consular courts? But what a sad state of affairs this is, Professor. The Japanese Anglo Alliance Treaty should have rendered these rights powerless in Japan. Yes, that is correct. So long as there isn't a grave incident of political importance. Invoking one's extraterritorial rights shouldn't be so simple. Is that so? Our empires must have made some sort of secret agreement behind closed doors. It's an injustice no matter what way you look at it. Giselle Brett can't be judged in this empire. I'd say she saw the trial as little more than a mere game. She knew there would be no danger to her well-being from the very beginning. What do you mean? The Great British Empire's Ministry of Foreign Affairs appealed to her extradition. The British government wants to handle this murder situation in a discreet manner. Moving forward, we have to be the ones to bring forth change. The world is in deep turmoil as we head towards the 20th century. Someday, the day will definitely come when the hammer of justice will be brought down upon her. Yes, it definitely will. We'll change the world until it does. Alright, let's be done with this serious talk. How about we all celebrate together this evening? Professor Mikasawa? That would be great. We won't change anything if we just stand around looking grim. Let's celebrate Ryunosuke's Naruto's acquittal with a blast. Feel free to come celebrate at Lacantos. I, Hosonaga, will make preparations for a very special dinner. Mr. Hosonaga, you're supposed to be a detective, right? No, let's not fret over the smaller details. Let us go. Will the professor be joining us? Of course. I hear the cutlets at Lacantos are most exquisite. Then I'll go finish your procedures for Naruto's acquittal. Thank you very much. Our empire is powerless to try Giselle Brett in court. Does that mean we'll never know the truth? Why did she murder Professor Watson? That was the question I had in my head. Asogi. What is it, Naruto? Let me thank you again. You really saved my life today. I didn't do anything at all. Which one of us was your attorney again? Asogi, I know you'll be the best attorney in the world. I wonder about that. Huh? To tell you the truth, during that trial I kept thinking, you're the one who was meant to be an attorney all along. Huh? What are you talking about? The only time I really helped you was at the beginning of the trial. You have a talent for being an attorney. No way, I never want to go through another terrifying battle like that again. Besides, all I did was listen to what you told me to do. I just believed in you. That is exactly why you have a talent for it. What do you mean? Think about it, Naruto. What do you think an attorney's most valuable weapon is? Well, I guess his knowledge of the law would be pretty important. Wrong. It's the power to believe. The power to believe? An attorney fights for his client no matter what. It all starts with belief. That's true. You believed in me. None of us are omnipotent, and that includes me. I'm only human. Despite that, I have to believe in something when I'm standing at the defense bench. In court, when you're backed into a corner and you have nowhere left to turn, it's hard to keep believing in what you must believe in. It's definitely not something that just anybody can do. To believe in your client. And today, you believed in the words of a mere student like me to the end. Huh? No matter how desperate situations you were thrust into, you did not avert your gaze. You never doubted my words, and you seized the truth with your own hands. Asogi. Naruto, there's actually something I want to talk to you about. I, Kazuma Asugi, have a heartfelt request for you. What's all of a sudden formality? Oh, are both of you still here? Oh, Detective Hosonaga. I've got on a rickshaw for us. Now, let us depart. I see. My apologies. We should be going now. He's still coughing up blood. Wow. What a trooper. Naruto, we'll talk about that later. For now, let's go celebrate your victory. And don't forget about your trip to the British Empire, too. Yes, you're right. That too. Thus, my very first courtroom battle drew to a close. Asogi, Professor Mikataba, and even Susato, the legal assistant. Thanks to all their help, I was able to fight until I was declared innocent. But little did I know that Asogi's request will cause a huge change in my life, setting me on the path that I walk now. I never realised that at the time, but that request was where it all began. The end. Wow. The adventure of the unbreakable speckled band. And that is the first episode completed. Well, that was an experience. Well, honestly, I'm so glad I've been kept spoilerless on all this. I honestly, I've been tempted so much to go through the translated videos and everything. And that was back when, before I found out about this translation. And I'll say it again. I said it at the start, said it now. The work being done by the Scarlet Study, I want to thank you, honestly. I'm thinking I'm going to continue this. I know we've only got the 4 episodes, but I want to continue this. And I'm so glad I waited for you guys. The Scarlet Study, literally look in the description of this video right now. Show them all the support you can, because they're doing an amazing job on this. I've been able to go through 4 to 5 hours of just watching this and going through it completely blind, and it's all the more satisfying when I can play it myself. And that's the beauty of it. And I want to thank everyone on the Scarlet Study for working on this translation. And no doubt they'll still work on episode 5. And you bet I'll be playing it. You bet. Thank you. And just on the first trial alone, I already feel this is one of my favourites. Oh, what else can I say? That breakdown. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm speechless. All I can say is thank you for sticking to me. I've been consistently at about 15 to 20 viewers. That's the most I've ever had on a stream. Oh. And that breakdown just made me laugh. Oh my god. I don't know what to do now. I'll definitely have to call it there for the night. It's coming up to about 9 o'clock in the evening for me. But no doubt I will definitely play this again. Go for the next episode. Oh, I'm almost in tears. And I'm just excited to play the rest. Maybe you want to preview the beginning of episode 2? Tell you what, I will. Let's go. Let's go for the preview. Starts from the beginning of the episode. Here we go. So this is what we've got to look forward to. In a corner of a small dark room, Holmes and I waited with bated breath. In that time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Holmes sprung into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Watson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Holmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil in which she referred Watson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was most terrible. Speckled band I had ever seen. I like how it's all translated on there as well in the writing. Is that in the original Japanese, or is it actually in English either way? Because that's pretty cool. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now then, why don't we crack this case wide open? I shall unveil the truth behind this mysterious murder. Pardon me. Now you see, this door was latched shut from the inside. There is no sign that the latch was ever tampered with. In short, this is a true locked room mystery. It appears the victim left a message in his dying breath. We can safely assume that he wrote it using this spilt ink. Russian letters. I take this, meaning Russian. It was Russian himself. The penmanship is impeccable. It should be named the culprit. My, what strange symbols these are. The handwriting in this message is an entirely different beast. It was likely written by someone from a different race. The seal was applied just before the murder by the victim himself, no less. Oh, would you look at that? Who do you think you are barging in like this? He's right. We ought to preserve the scene and wait for the maritime police to arrive. Shh, that won't be necessary. For we shall meet with the killer in a mere 5 seconds. Huh? What? Don't be stupid. This is a normal crime scene. It's a scene of a locked room murder. Then how about we break the seal on this mysterious locked room? Could you be sorry that the killer is inside? Just who in the world are you? Well, I'm a world-famous detective. Quite enjoy the British Empire. The Sherlock Holmes. Haven't you heard? Hmm. Wow. So that's the preview, huh? My head is pounding. What's going on? This room seems strangely noisy. Huh? What? Oh! What? I can't move. Oh! What is this? Aren't these handcuffs? So you're finally awake. Even after we violently dragged you out of our wardrobe, you still refuse to wake up. You've got some damn guts. Ah, guess I got caught after all. That's right. Looks like you understand the situation, you damned criminal. All this time, no one suspected that scum like you could have been hiding in that tidy wardrobe. I'm sorry. At this point, it'd be best to just come clean and confess your sins. Unless you're ready to be cast out into sea through that porthole. Alright, I'll tell you everything. Then, please, answer one question for me. But that voice is... Oh, just why in heavens did you take his life? Ah, Scissor Toe. Hold on a second. I took his life? Where is he? Where's Asogi? No. No. Dare I click? Ha! There's a limit to how much you can feign ignorance. You murdered him with your own hands. You can't fool us. Huh? Kazuma, this corpse was just discovered a short time ago. That's not fair. No. Just throwing that, yeah? He was found on the inside of his cabin, with the latch shut on the inside. Asogi's corpse. Oh no. Don't start giving us stupid excuses like I'm still drowsy, so I forgot. Asogi is dead? That can't be. Then these handcuffs are... I shall ask you once more. Just why? Why did you take Kazuma's life? Please, answer me at once. Ah, my bloody feelings exactly. Asogi. Half a month ago. Should we really be doing something this extreme? You're being smuggled into an international exchange student's cabin. Quite the thrill, don't you think? What a thrill. I thought I was going to die when I was brought here as carry-on luggage. That Russian sailor threw it on the floor with all the strength he had. The trunk I was stuffed in, that is. Nevertheless, it's surprising. I never expected that you would really fit into the trunk so snugly. You're much more compact than you appear. Shut up! I seriously thought my spine was going to snap. There are 50 days until we disembark to the shores of the Great British Empire. It'll be fine. You won't be found as long as you keep yourself in this cabin. The sailors will definitely rip my head off if they find me. That's true. All the Russian sailors here are incredibly brawny. That aside, why are we keeping this a secret from the legal assistant? Legal assistant Mikitawa, you mean? That girl is on your side, isn't she? An introduction wouldn't hurt. I highly doubt she'd rip my head off, at least. If she were to find out about you, then she would become an accomplice to us. It'd be better for the secret to be kept between the two of us. If you say so. I literally just killed him. This generation's Mia. Yeah. Now then, it's almost time for the next sailor to take his cleaning patrol. For the time being, it might be cramped, but go hide in there. Compared to squeezing yourself into that trunk, this should be a breeze. Geez, if that sailor randomly decides to open the door, it's all over, you know. Come on, you'll be fine. And how about you write "Do not open" on that piece of paper over there? I'll paste the paper firmly on that wardrobe door there for you. Since then, it's been half a month. I would never have thought that something like this would happen en route to the Great British Empire. In any case, we'll drop you off at the next port. Until then, don't you dare try anything funny. You damned murderer. Murderer? Please hold on a second. Didn't I tell you already? Confess your crime. That's not what I was referring to. It's true that I was smuggled onto this ship, but I could never kill someone. You're the only possible culprit. Just give up and accept your punishment. Susato. Please, hear me out. Please, let me tell you what happened. Very well. There is something I need to ask you about as well. Susato's eyes are burning so wildly. I get the feeling that I won't be waking up from this nightmare. Anyway, I should listen to what she has to say. I'm probably going to stop it there. Ready for the next one. Before I go on into the night. Because I'm being dragged straight into this. And I don't know how to process that. I'm probably going to go cry now. Okay, I'm going to say my goodbyes again. And once again, thank you, Scarlet Study. Oh, that just got me. Thank you everyone for joining in, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. I'll definitely stream this again, honestly. I'm so glad I kept myself spoiler free, honestly. Oh, thank you ever so much everyone for turning up. Take care now.